everybody. We are back for our Final Four preview. I actually have a couple things I'd like to say about the Sweet 16. We're going to talk about that in a second, but before we do, I'm Patty.
I'm Al. As always, this is Open Garage.
Yeah, we're ready to talk to you guys about this. I want to share, I actually got to go to the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight in Anaheim this past weekend, and it was like one of the greatest experiences of all time. I saw Shohei Ohtani and Justin Upton, Angels alum, which he's a Yankees fan, but he's, we love him. That was pretty cool to see. Gonzaga came up short. Not the biggest fan of, they kept trying to force it to Rui. As great as he is, they made mistakes doing that, and I thought that got him into trouble. But the overall experience was really cool. It was really awesome being part of the whole March Madness vibe. Texas Tech was playing amazing, so watching them do their thing was just really cool. Anaheim, Honda Center put on a great show. It was super awesome.
It's been a fantastic March Madness season. Great tournament. Tons of upsets. Who would have thunk that Duke would not be there in the Final Four? It's been...
You always have that hunch, though. You always have that hunch.
It's been incredible to see, and of course my bracket went quickly up in flames.
As did mine on day one.
I did check earlier today. I am going for a solid 4.7%, so anyone who took my advice on filling out your bracket, I'm sorry about that. I
guess that teaches you a lesson now, so in future years you guys are a little better off. That's not to say mine is much better, although 4.whatever%, I think I beat that. Anyways, let's talk about the Final Four and what we think is going to happen. Why don't you give me your prediction for the first, let's start with the Michigan State and Texas Tech game. What do you think?
The Michigan State, they have had such a miraculous season to get where they are, and when you look in comparison to teams that they've had in the past and the superstar players that Tom Izzo has had to work with, as opposed to this lineup that he has now, but they're really playing as a team, and they've gotten this far. And Texas Tech, on the other hand, they're very good on defense, very good on offense. They're just efficient, and that's what's...
And they're good all around. That's the other thing. Like, they have players in every position that can put the ball in the bucket. I like them a lot. Who do you think is going to win, though?
If I had to bet on it, I think I would go with the underdog, Texas Tech.
Okay.
Just because, really, for no other reason than that would be fitting for what's happened so far in the tournament, and it's been very unexpected. And they were able to get past Gonzaga. I don't know if they have necessarily that big kind of win that you look for to say, oh, they could definitely overcome a historic program like Michigan State, but this is their time to be on the national spotlight and to get some notoriety for their program for something other than having Bobby Knight as the coach.
Yeah. Credit to Bobby Knight, by the way, because they were nothing in basketball before he came around. Now they're in post Bobby Knight. They're an actual basketball program.
Any credit to Cliff Kingsbury?
I mean, nothing against Kingsbury at all. Like, great job. I'm just giving props to Bobby Knight. I mean, he was, at the very end of his career, and he still managed to turn that program into a winning program. That says a lot about somebody,
I kind of expected him to be a Final Four team when he was there. It's been a slower development, but amazing basketball that they have in Lubbock, Texas now.
Yeah, absolutely. And their fans were all about it. They had a lot of great fans at the games, and it was really fun to see. A lot of folks from Texas came out, and it was just a lot of fun seeing everybody out there. Interesting take on the game. I'm actually going to go with Michigan State. Having watched Texas Tech the last two games, they really impressed me, and I would not be shocked at all if they won the game. But the reason I'm going to go with Michigan State is, I personally want to see a Tom Izzo in the championship game versus the other coach we're going to get to in a minute here. But also, Cassius Winston is playing at his all-time high, and I'm of the opinion that point guards are what win you championships. And I think he is kind of the epitome of what a college point guard could be that's a championship point guard. You know what I mean? He makes winning plays. Now, one thing I was going to tell you to get on your Texas Tech subject real quick, you said they were looking for their signature kind of win in the tournament, and I agree with you that they maybe haven't necessarily had that, but they're the first team in like 14 or 15 seasons to win the Big 12 that's not named Kansas.
Wow.
So that alone, to me, is kind of the credence for here we are, we're the real deal, because Bill Self has just absolutely dominated the Big 12. I was shocked that he didn't this year, and they had a good solid squad this year too. But that's how it goes. Anyways, I'm gonna go with Michigan State. Cassius Winston for the win. Let's go back on the other side of the bracket.
On the other side of the bracket, of course, is Virginia, Tony Bennett's team against Auburn, Bruce Pearl's squad.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you expect to win this?
I have Auburn. I have the boys coming up big for Chumo Kiki. I feel really bad for that kid. That sucks, But Louisville did it a few years back when Kevin Ware got hurt, right?
Kevin or Spencer? Oh, Kevin Ware.
Kevin Ware got hurt.
Spencer Ware was a running back.
Spencer Ware was a running back for the Chiefs. And that was one of the most gruesome injuries, that was ever on TV. And poor guy, but you know what? They won it. I also think that Auburn's the type of team that's built for the tournament, in my opinion, because they have a lot of guys that shoot a lot of threes and they can make a lot of shots. Virginia, on the other hand, is like the polar opposite. They're slow, methodical. We want to play the game at our pace. But what that doesn't really provide much of is the crazy runs that you can go on, which can totally, change the tide of a game, especially in these tournament games, with emotions riding so high. And Bruce Pearl is also a fantastic coach. That's not taken away from Bennett. But I got Auburn because of kind of all those factors. I think that the way they play could be more conducive. If they're on fire, if they're making shots, it's their game to win. If they're just laying up bricks all day, then Virginia could get a 10-point victory.
I'm really excited to see the contrast of styles and just see. I completely agree with how you're describing Virginia's style, and I anticipated them losing all along. Almost every game I've watched so far, I think this is when the other shoe's going to fall off for Virginia. But they've able to keep it all together this year with a team that I think is possibly less talented than some of the teams they've had in the past. But they're getting it done, and it's unexpected the way they're getting it done. And you talk about veteran point guard experience; they have a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be fascinating to see them go against Auburn, who's been more of the type of explosive team comes out of the SEC. They kind of dominated that SEC tournament, got disrespected by getting a 5 seed, but they're able to get past Kentucky yet again and North Carolina. That's what I meant by a signature win in the tournament.
I agree with you completely on both of those wins.
Beating Gonzaga was great for Texas Tech, but Auburn doing that back-to-back games, can they do it again and beat another top team in all of the country?
Yeah, a team that's been top 3 pretty much all season. Virginia, they're no slouch.
I go with Auburn as well. I think I got Auburn, Texas Tech as the finals today, picking today, and I think we're gonna have 2 teams that have never been in the national championship, and that's what the tournament's all about.
All right. So who Virginia reminds me of? They remind me of UCLA circa 10 years ago. UCLA had much more star power than Virginia has, with Kevin Love and Farmar and Aflalo and all these different types of guys, and Westbrook, of course. And I'm not hating on anybody. Virginia doesn't have those big names, but Ben Hallen played that style with those players, and he was never able to overcome that hump. Tony Bennett has a very similar style, slow and methodical and don't push the pace. And maybe because he doesn't have those solo stars, it might work better for them in this chance to go around. But I thought that's what really kept UCLA from winning. I mean, Derrick Rose, that Memphis team was good. Calipari did a great job coaching, but Derrick Rose pretty much single-handedly beat UCLA that one year. And one player can break you down like that. You got to be able to run up and down. With Westbrook and Collison and Kevin Love on the same team, are you kidding me?
And now Auburn's going to do it sure-handed without one of their best players. And who knows how this will unfold. No, we didn't expect any of these matchups to happen. And I picked Virginia to lose in the first round. And then look that they've gotten all the way
I didn't think that was going to happen, but they surprised me. They did last year. All right, so you have a different final than me. Who do you have winning the championship game?
I'm going to go with Bruce Pearl and Auburn. I think that they're a team of destiny. I think we kind of thought this might be coming in the end of the regular season. We saw some of the things Bruce was doing with the squad, but I think they've exceeded expectations and they've won more than anyone could have thought and came out of the hardest corner of the bracket.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna cap it off with 2 more wins.
So I have them making the final game, but I have them losing to Michigan State. It goes back to the Cassius Winston thing to me. in addition to, him being a great point guard, is he's like a he's a steady presence at point guard. And the thing about the Auburn team I was telling you about before is they, and you agree with me, the way they play, the way they shoot. I don't look at Virginia and look at their team and say, I see Virginia taking complete advantage of that. I do look at Tom Izzo's team and say, I see that team taking advantage of bad shots by Auburn and turning it into easy, fast-baked buckets for themselves. So the same reason I have Virginia losing is I don't see their going on a run potential. I see that working conversely for Michigan State and giving them the edge over Auburn.
So sometimes that style that Virginia plays, I mean, we've seen it come together, and it could possibly gel right at the right time.
Totally can. Watch us be wrong about all this. Watch them win. Yeah, watch us be wrong about all this. But I get what you're saying, but Pop and Spurs also had Tim Duncan, and they had some solo stars that were phenomenal. Anyways, that was our Final Four preview show, guys. Happy to talk about all of it with you. We're really excited to see what happens this weekend. It's going to be really awesome. And I guess Monday's probably the championship game. I think Saturday's the Final Four games. Monday will be the championship game. That'll be a really fun thing to talk about. Stay tuned next week. We'll be able to talk about that. And any last words you want to say?
I just want to say thanks, everyone. Thanks for giving us a shot. If you did watch our bracket preview show, I'm sorry for how terrible my picks turned out. But I'm thrilled for how it did turn out. I mean, you love to see this kind of things, and that's what makes March so mad.
All right, have a good one, guys.